Good morning. It is so nice to have all of you joining us. I'm Sherry Renzepis, Director of Admissions, a registrar here at the Cushman School, and I'm so thankful we have this platform for you to learn more about the Cushman School. I truly wish I was standing next to each one of you and walking you through our campus and introducing you to the lovely Cushman family that I'm going to introduce in just a moment. Um, and welcome. Thank you for coming. If there's some reason that you are not able to stay the whole time, this is recorded and I will have it up on our website in the near future. So let me get started by introducing Dr. Arvi Balsero, our head of school.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Rensepis. And I too want to welcome you. It's always exciting to see families that are interested in Cushman and what we have to offer your children. And of course, as Sherry said, this is not a normal time. And typically we would see you on campus, you would be able to feel the wonderful culture, the warm embrace of every Cushman employee and the children. So we're hoping today, and I believe you will feel the love and the excitement and the passion shine through the screen, because nothing is more important to us than having families like you that believe in our mission and believe in our philosophy of character always coming first, and through the development of industry courtesy and responsibility, then the academics are developed through a personalized, developmentally appropriate approach. And so our partnership with our families is the most important, because to be able to raise your children with you, which is our aim, and today ever more important with all of the influences, as you know, on that society has on our young children, this becomes very important. And so we're happy that you already have that form of interest. And I believe and hope that at the end of today, that it's going to be even more clearly cemented in your hearts, and we can continue on our journey together. So, I wanted to welcome you. I have been here for a long time. I'm on my 34th year, but I've been head for 8 years, and I have 5 children that have come and grown through Cushman, and a few that have come back and are educators, and now I have grandchildren. I'm sure that, like me, once you are here and you understand the Cushman philosophy and how this is enlivened every single day, it becomes part of who you are, as it has me. So we look forward to that journey together, and welcome. Thank you for taking your time to be here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balsero. Next, I would like to introduce Mrs. Jill Sevilla. She's our primary school director, and hopefully in the future, you'll be working hand in hand with her.
Wonderful. Welcome to you all. I'm so glad that you're here. And as Sherry said, there's nothing we like more than sharing our campus with people, talking about our school. Cushman really is a special place. And, sometimes when we're away, we click our ruby heels and we say there's no place like Cushman. And it really, truly is a family affair. When things are running as they should, we really enjoy having families with us, taking part in raising your children. We're a part of that, and we will do that together. And I know Dr. Balsero spoke to that as well. Seeing the children at school every day is the highlight of my life, and just brings so much joy to me. And you can see it in the children as well. As Dr. Balsero said, that the children are so happy to be at school. Because we provide an environment that is safe and secure and happy. Children know what to expect, and everybody is looking out for them to make sure that they are in the right place, getting what they need, and are able to be successful in all that they do. So doesn't mean everything's always perfect, right? But we always work together to make sure that we are offering the best possible education and the best possible environment that we can. And should your family join us in the future, then I look forward to working very closely with all of you and raising your children with you. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I've been here for 25 years, so Cushman is also my home. Not quite as long as Dr. Balthero, but it's my home. I've also raised my 2 children here. My daughter's gone on to be a teacher as well. So anyway, like I said, it's a family affair, and we welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sevilla. Next, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Cheryl Rogers. She is the principal of our school and the elementary school director. Mrs. Rogers.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here. We all echo the same thing. We're a Cushman family, and we appreciate your time and learning about our school. When I knew you were coming, I asked the children, what would you like me to tell our visitors? Because typically you'd be going into their classrooms, you'd be seeing them engage in these beautiful projects that involve art and music and learning, through doing. And, I was so pleased, and maybe my heart sang, because they said to me, tell our visitors that it's a happy place to be and that it's kind, we're kind to each other. And that's certainly a gift that we all want to give our children, that sense of empathy and joy in their hearts. So, we're going to talk a lot about the philosophy. I know Sherry Renzepis will do so, but that strength of character shines through here every day. We're one team with one goal, and that's do the right thing for your children, to stand up for what's good for them, and to make sure that they feel safe and honored at Cushman, that we always act with dignity when we're talking to them. We want you to know that. So please, it's my joy, it truly is, to nurture your children and find that potential in them, to make a positive difference in their lives, not just while they're 5 or 15, but when they're adults, that they'll look back with that joy in their heart at Cushman School and think, I was cared for and I was loved. So thank you once again for coming. I can't wait to see you in person, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. We're going to learn a lot together today about the primary school.
Thank you, Mrs. Rogers. Next up, Mrs. Jennifer Geimer, our upper school director, 6 through 12.
Good morning, everybody. It is so exciting to welcome you to the Cushman family. It's unfortunate that we are not on campus, because one of my favorite things is this beautiful weather and the oak trees and the mulch and everything that our beautiful oasis brings, not only to the culture of the school in the environment, but how that feeling you get of the beauty and the oasis is truly how we run our school. At this time, I remember being in your shoes when my son was just 2.5, 3 when he started. All of your kids are promises and possibilities. They have the whole world ahead of them. And what a beautiful opportunity you have to raise them with us at Cushman School. It truly is a magical place. It's the one school I can tell you that lives the philosophy every single day and in every facet of what we do, from programming to behavior and to the long range plan of not just getting them into college, but also getting them to know how to live a life of good character and a life well lived. It is a wonderful, wonderful place, and I am so happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Geimer. And I would also like to introduce, but she's not able to join us today, Dr. Tracy Ross. She's the director of our Laura Cushman Academy, and we all work hand in hand to make sure that each child is getting what they need to be the most successful self that they can be. And if anyone just joined us, just let me reintroduce myself. My name is Sherry Renzepis. I'm the Director of Admission and Registrar. I've been with Cushman 20 years, at schools for 29. It's a joy to be here every day, and I'm so happy that you're here to join us. So here you can see a picture of our campus. This is what we call our main campus or historic campus. This is where we started, and it's nestled right on Biscayne Boulevard and between 61st and 59th, and you can drive past it and not even know that this beautiful oasis is here. We started where the triangle building is with the flag and the paw print, and that's where Dr. Cushman, we started in the 1920s. And we still gather together every morning and put up our flag and celebrate our day. Right in the center, there's a bell that was given to us by the Deering family. The bell was used at Vizcaya in Coconut Grove when they were building there to call in everyone for meals. And that family donated it to us, and we use it for special occasions. And it's just a symbol of our togetherness. The main campus hosts two of each grade level, first through fifth. So there's two first grade, two second grade. Upstairs, we have two third, two fourth, and two fifth. On the bottom part of that main building, we have another 5 classrooms that are a part of our Laura Cushman Academy, which is just a smaller part of our school designed to meet the needs of children who academically need more support. It's classes of 10 to 12 with 2 full-time teachers. They work with speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, one-on-one remediation specialists, really whatever they need throughout our school to be academically successful, we have here. We partner our students together for PE, music, art, class parties, science lab. We really just understand that we're placed in the classroom that's right for us. As you cross the street, as you cross over Laura Cushman Circle, you'll find the primary school. It's that T-shaped building back there where there's a paw. There is where your children would begin. And we have several classes meeting the needs of children who are 2, turning 3 through kindergarten. And I'll get into those details in just a few minutes. If you go towards Fifth Avenue, that's our middle school. So back there we have our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade classrooms. They use both floors, top and bottom, and some of the little houses in the back. We also have our business office in the back corner. And then up front, we have a beautiful music center, an innovation center, and a parking space. Then, if you look to the far left, that's our Cushman High School, and our main campus is on 60th and Biscayne. Our high school, grades 9 through 12, is on 47th and Biscayne, so just 13 blocks south. We are thrilled to have our high school. We started 5 years ago, and we really just listened to our families because our journey used to end with 8th grade, and they said, there's no place like Cushman. We want to continue here. And Dr. Balsero and our board made it happen. So here we have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And we're so thankful that people can just continue their journey. So I just wanted to share with you Dr. Cushman's standards that she started 96 years ago, and we hold true. And we have been so fortunate in our 96 years to only have 3 heads of school. So Dr. Laura Cushman is our founder. She ran the school for many, many years, followed by Dr. Joan Lutton, who was here for around 37, 38 years, followed by Dr. Balsero, who you met this morning, and she's been here for 37, 36 years, but our head for the last several. And so these traditions have been passed down from generation to generation. And we hold true to the things that Dr. Cushman put in place. She was a visionary, and what she put in place holds true today. First and foremost, and I'm not going to read all of these, but our first aim is a happy attitude. And we truly feel as if though the children and grown-ups at Cushman are placed in a happy surroundings, then academically they're going to do the very best that they can. We talk a lot about self-control and poise and teaching the children what self-control means. That's a huge concept. And so I taught kindergarten for many, many years, and I used to love to do little activities with my class. And one favorite was we would line up and I would say, I'm going to blow bubbles, but no one can touch them. We're just going to stand like statues. And they truly could feel what self control felt like. And then, of course, we'd have a bubble party. But we would talk about we're in control of what we do with our words and our actions. And it's really something that is so important to children to understand that I language. We always talk about gracious, unfailing courtesy to everyone that we come in contact with. Our first aim and is that everyone has a happy attitude, which I spoke about. And we truly feel that if a child is not happy, we will seek the underlying cause to find out why that child is not happy and fix it so that they can be adjusted satisfactorily. We really we work hard on that, and I wish you were on campus with us because you would see that on the faces of the children. You would see that on the faces of the grown-ups. And I have to tell the story that Dr. Balsero likes to share is I'll tour you as many times as you need to. And I had a woman a few years back who came in and she said, well, everyone's just so happy. She thought it was something staged or planned. So she came back with another tour with her husband, saw the same thing. She came back with another tour with her mother. She just wanted to share the experience. And then later, as she was a parent, she told us that she would kind of just pass by the campus just to watch the families coming and going and seeing their happy attitude and their joy coming to and from school. It's just how we do things here, and I'm so excited to share that with you. So every morning we start together by putting up the flag. And non-COVID times, parents are always welcome on campus. We love to have you here. It's a partnership. We want you to become a part of our family. Um, and it happens, and you can just drive through and drop off, but you're always welcome to park and come in and chit chat with your friends and watch your children play on the playground. At Flag, we say the Pledge of Allegiance. The primary school flag, well, Mondays, the whole school puts the flag up together, and one of our classes is in charge of a devotion and just getting up in front of the school and talking about a holiday or a virtue that they hold true. And then Tuesday through Friday, we do flag in our little sections. Mrs. Sevilla runs the primary school flag, where hopefully your children will be. And in addition to the Pledge of Allegiance, we say the Pledge for Success. And I'm not going to read a lot of my slides, but I really want to read every single one of our pledges because they're so important. And this is the way we do things at our school from pre-K through 12th grade. We say, I will wait my turn to speak. I will treat others the way I would like to be treated. I will remember that I have people that care about me in my family, school, and community. I will respect all people. I will try my best. And then we have little lessons in the classroom. What does it mean to try your best? What's your personal best? And it's going to be different than the person sitting next to you. We talk about respecting diversity, whether it's the families that we come from, the languages that we speak. Boys and girls are very different, and just being respectful of our entire community. We have several tiers at our school, and I always tell people when we're in person that we base our entrance and the families that come here by looking at students and families of good character. We've been here for 96 years. We're educators. We can meet the needs of your child. We do not have placement tests for our little guys that are coming in as pre-K 3, pre-K 4, kindergarten. We know they're all over the place. And often children come to us with their home language at home that's different than English. It might be Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, Chinese, and they come here and learn so quickly. It's amazing. But we understand that everyone's on their own journey. So we have our mainstream classes, which are just our typical learners. As they get a little older, if they need our Laura Cushman Academy, we have that available to families. And again, our academy is for children who tend to have a full psych evaluation that says they need a smaller learning environment with more grown-ups working with them. They work with speech and language therapists and occupational therapists and one-on-one remediation as needed. You think often when children come to us that are 3 and 4, they're too young to have a full psych evaluation. But sometimes parents come to us and say, my daughter's 3, she's not speaking. We're working with a speech and language therapist. Or my son's 4, he missed some milestones. He didn't crawl. He's having a really hard time with fine motor. We're working with an occupational therapist. And so at our school, for our pre-Ks, we have an inclusion classroom. And what that means is there's an extra teacher in that space. So there's 2 full-time teachers, a full-time assistant, and there's a handful of children who really benefit from speech and language and occupational therapy. And then we have a larger group of children who are acting as role models. And as parents, you know that we can all benefit from speech and language and occupational therapy. Once the children get to kindergarten, then we have separate classrooms, 3 of kindergarten mainstream and a smaller Laura Cushman Academy class. On the elementary side, we still have children that are all over the place, and sometimes they need a little extra support in math or comprehension. And so we have a large team of remediation specialists that are a part of our learning resources. And they can work with children in small groups up to 4 throughout the school day, included with tuition as needed. In the middle school, we have a tier called Study Skills. And in the middle school, and I'll talk more about our program, they do take Spanish, but we have a handful of children who do not take Spanish, and instead they're a part of our Study Skills class. Learning more the game of school. What have you turned in? What haven't you turned in? How do you arrange your locker, your binder? So I'm going to focus mostly on the primary school because you have little ones that are here. And again, Mrs. Sevilla is our primary school director that you'll be working hand in hand. Our typical school hours are we put our flag up at 8:30, and then we gather together after a busy day at 2:45 to take the flag down and have afternoon announcements. In a typical non-COVID year, we have before school time that the children can get dropped off starting at 7:30. They can play on the playground supervised. And then after school, between 3 and 4, the children are welcome to play on the playground. And there's a small picture of Coach Pablo out there with some groups. It's this beautiful oasis under the trees with such nice space for the children to run around and get their energies out. And we have a smaller playground on the opposite side of that building where the little guys, the little 2s, 3s, and young 4s play. We also have after school clubs that families can sign up for between 3 and 4. And that would be where they get more of their sports. So there's soccer, karate, basketball. We have flamenco, ballet, cooking, fun with foods, robotics, science club, additional Mandarin, additional Spanish, just a bunch of different after school fun activities that the children can sign up for on a 6-week basis. And then at 4 o'clock, we ring a bell. A majority of the children have been picked up to go home, but we have a handful that are still here. And so, in a typical year between 4 and 6, we have aftercare with Mr. and Mrs. Gates, who run the Golden Gates Aftercare from 4 until 6. And then hopefully everyone's been picked up by 6 o'clock. So we're here to meet the needs of all families. Um, we're in COVID, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, we are having pickup and drop off for the children. We're not having families on campus. We're being as careful as possible to stop the spread of COVID, and I'll go into details a little bit with that later. Um, we really just right now are concentrating on keeping our school open and having everyone be safe. So for our littlest ones, we have a classroom that we call our nursery. And it's really for children who have just turned 2, typically in June, excuse me, just turned 3 in June, July, August, or are still 2 at the start of the school year, but turn 3 by December. So it's a little 6-month group of children who are almost 3 or just turned 3, and they're with Dr. Harrelson and Mrs. Danick. It's a group of around 14 typically, always a full-time teacher, full-time assistant in our classes. The children, the requirement is they are potty trained, and yes, they're little. They've all become freshly potty trained. We understand that. There's a teeny tiny little potty in their classroom. The teachers are experts at what they do, and they've worked with this young group for uh, 20 plus years. We don't ask, do you have to go to the bathroom? No, it's pee pee potty time. So that's really just our one requirement. And then we have pre-K 3, which is where the children are 3 when they start school in September, and pre-K 4 when they're 4 when they start school in September. Every year varies a little bit. Sometimes we'll have a younger 3, an older 3. We always have multi-age settings of pre-K 3, pre-K 4 together in one class. And then the child that's 3 can stay with that teacher for the year that they're 4. So they really get to know their teachers. Some years we have older 4s. It's really dependent on the group of children that we have here, followed by kindergarten, where it's children who typically are 5 at the start of the school year. We have 3 kindergarten classes, and then our kindergarten Laura Cushman Academy class as well. In our classes, there's always 2 full-time grown-ups. One's the teacher, one's the assistant. The children really feel like it's 2 teachers, but one is doing more of the lesson planning and guiding the day. We have about 80% of our classrooms have one of the grown-ups that's fluent in Spanish so that they can use it throughout the day. We like to say that the children are learning through play. They use a lot of manipulatives, um, throughout their day to understand concepts. We are a school that does not say a child is 3 and all of our 3-year-olds are reading. They're not. They're reading when they're ready. We are exposing them to phonics, we're exposing them to all of the math skills, but they really become readers, writers, mathematicians on their own time. I'll come back more to our primary school curriculum in just a moment, but I do want to touch base with Mrs. Rogers' division, our elementary school. That starts 15 minutes earlier and ends 15 minutes later. We have the same before and after programs, except for we add in some spaces to work on homework in the elementary school. They can use the library after school, and the playground on different days. Sports become a little more advanced when they get older. We have a CADS program where we have so many children that love soccer and basketball that we have teams here at Cushman that we play against each other, led by our wonderful athletic team. We have 2 of each grade level as they move through the elementary school. Plus our Laura Cushman Academy class. Our mainstream classes tend to have between 20 and 22 students, always a full-time teacher, full-time assistant. Our academy classes range from 10 to 12, 2 full-time teachers and lots of extra help. I like to say that the children in the elementary school are moving from learning to read to reading to learn. And I've been in schools 29 years. They're all going to learn to read. And I just tell families not to worry, boys and girls get there at different times. By 3rd grade, they're all reading chapter books. Some are reading giant novels, some are reading Geronimo Stilton and things with pictures in them still, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And again, boys and girls are very different. Throughout our school, we're very developmentally appropriate. We're very creative and have hands on activities for the children always. Dr. Cushman was friendly with Maria Montessori, so there's bits and pieces of that at our school. A few of our primary school teachers went to Italy and brought back a little Reggio Emilia with them. Um, Little guys aren't always ready to recognize their friends' names, but they can recognize symbols, and so they choose a symbol that speaks to them. It might be a heart or a spider or a truck, and then all of their things are labeled as such. And it's such a precursor to reading when they understand that symbols have meaning. It's a little traditional. It's a lot of teacher created and things that work for children over 96 years. Our reading, writing, phonics program is open court. We start it with our threes and fours, doing one letter a week. So if they're on the letter P, they're learning about ping and pong, who pop popcorn and make too much and have pails and pails and have a party with their pal. My threes and fours are making the letters out of Play-Doh, out of sticks. They're gluing popcorn onto the letter P. They're popping popcorn in the class and popping up when they hear a letter P. The ones that are ready as they grow older are writing words that start with P, and others are incorporating those words into sentences. Always starting with something artistic, making that first, and then moving forward to their level of what they can do. This continues through kindergarten. Well, it continues all the way through our elementary, but in kindergarten, they move a little faster and they get into the crazy spellings of the English language and the nuances. For example, the letter S, or the sound of S would be with a spelled with an S, two S's like in dress or sun, CE like in scent, CI like in city, CY like in cycle. And so we give these skills tips to our kindergartners. Some of us look at us like we're crazy. They're just trying to make an S the right direction. But those early readers will understand why nice doesn't have an S in it. That continues through our elementary. We use a lot of little primary phonic books, getting the children reading when they're ready. They move so sequentially through the phonic program, starting with short A and simple sight words, adding in I, then E. They're just fantastic little readers. We use Lexia Reading as a sight word based program for the children. It's something that they can sign into on their iPads starting in kindergarten, and they're working on the reading and the spelling of sight words. So some kindergartners are working on in, it, the. Some are doing could, would, should, and they're all over the place. But we understand that each child is on their own journey. We incorporate Handwriting Without Tears as our handwriting program. It's an amazing program that's multi-sensory, and our little ones are making the letters with a series of straight sticks and curves, large and small, really talking about directionality and starting at the smiley face in the top left-hand corner, and working with the manipulatives and chalk to strengthen their fine motor. As they move through, we use Wordly Wise, which is our vocabulary program, and that starts in kindergarten. As far as math, the picture shows children working with Cuisenaire rods. It's an old school tool that's timeless, and it has little rods, 1 through 10, of different colors, and they're using those to understand number sense. They're using them to begin addition, greater than, less than, subtraction, and they actually move into multiplication when they're ready, mostly on the elementary side. But multiplication is just repeated addition. We have so many hands in the pot with your children. We have our main teachers, of course, but we also understand the need for movement and getting outside and running around. And we have this beautiful team of our coaches and education team where the children have physical education every day. It's a half hour. We typically do 4 days with the coaches and 1 day with yoga. The coaches move through all of the sports, in addition to hula hoops, jump ropes, scooters, games under the tree. We have Spanish several times a week. On the primary side, it's taught whole group. When they get to elementary, second grade, we split between native Spanish speakers and children learning as a second language, as they can move at very different paces. And it also allows for us to have smaller groups. We have a fabulous teacher here from China who's exposing our children to Mandarin once a week, starting with our littlest group. That goes through third grade. And it is amazing what these children can understand and recreate and pronounce. Their brains are sponges. Um, One of my favorite things is to go in and watch the little threes with the Mandarin teacher, and I can hardly hear or recreate the sounds that I'm hearing her teach, but the little guys are get it. It's absolutely amazing. We have science in the classroom, and we also have a science lab that the children go through once a week. We have lots of creative projects in the classroom, but yet we have an innovation center that ties into what the children and teachers are doing in their class. Everything from sewing machines to 3D printers. We have technology throughout our school, more now due to COVID. But we really just want it to be a touch. It's something that the children understand and know how to do, but it's not our main goal to have them using technology, especially in the primary school. We have library once a week, and you can see the two children sitting in our gorgeous library. Um, you can also have use the library before school, after school. It's our library for you. You're welcome to come in as a parent, check out books, read with your children, enjoy. Additionally, we have three amazing guidance counselors at our school, and Mrs. Williams comes into the primary school classes and just teaches values, which is based on our Pledge for Success. And she comes in and has little lessons. So they're hearing about character first through their teachers, through everything that we speak of. And then the guidance counselor comes in and talks about it as well. And it really becomes part of who the children are, is just being of good character. We have an art center that the children start in first grade. Prior to that, everything they do in their classroom is through being creative and making things. In the middle school and high school, we have a plethora of electives that the children get many of these special areas through, but we let them choose their interests. So it might be VEX robotics or 3D programming, it might be music, drama, sports journalism. We have just a guitar, steel pans, just a plethora of electives as they get older. In the middle school, and I know that sounds crazy to be talking about middle school to you right now, but it happens. They grow quickly. And so in the middle school, no longer are the children in a specific class, but they're taking the classes that are right for them on their own schedule. Middle school starts 15 minutes earlier, ends 15 minutes later. Mrs. Jennifer Geimer, that you met earlier, is the director of both our middle and high, and we call that our upper school. And they have all of their mainstream classes. We still have friends that are a part of the Laura Cushman Academy because they have different learning styles, but for the most part, they have phased out of speech and language and occupational therapy. We do specialize and have Latin taught during our sixth and seventh grade year, which is an amazing piece of our language arts program. It's the declensions, it's Greek and Roman civilization. As a parent who's seen my son go through it, it really ties together the language, and really helped him too with Spanish and understanding the declensions in Spanish because it's just so logical. My eighth graders don't take Latin, but they take writing as they move through. Spanish is a core piece of our school, and it does continue through middle school into high school, and then we add in some other languages in our high school. Right now, we've also added in Italian and French. At our high school, they start earlier and end late as we just are able to have our day a little bit longer for them. Right now, it's on Biscayne and 47th, as I showed you earlier. We have around 150 students. We're still in our growing phase. we're looking to have between 200, 250 when it's all said and done by the time your children will be there. Our biggest goal is to develop leaders with a positive approach to life. They have amazing projects in the high school. One particular class that I love is Society and Me. The children are choosing a topic that speaks to them, that they can make a change. They can do research and make a change locally and nationally. And it might be saving the ocean reefs, it might be urban gardening, it might be gender wage gap. We have amazing programs where the children have interns as they get into their senior year. Um, they present. Presenting is just such a huge part of our school, and it starts with our little ones when they're 2 and 3 and they're up presenting in their classroom the work that they've done. They're sharing their ideas. It's not a school where the children are sitting and listening like you're doing today, and I truly apologize. We would normally be walking and talking. And it's really just a sharing experience. Back to Society and Me, it's such a great precursor to their essays that they're writing for college and their interviews because they've already lived it, they've written it. We have a plethora of universities and colleges that our students have gone to. We continue to grow. And here's a little of our technology as we move through. Again, you have teeny tiny ones, and it is not our main goal. With COVID, we've implemented so that everyone has some sort of piece in case they're working at home, and our tech department has been amazing in supporting us. It's been interwoven into our curriculum for the last 20 years. Were one of the pioneer schools to have a one-to-one laptop program, and we started it in our 4th grade. And at that time, we were trying to do everything on it. Come 20 years later, and I have a high school student, you want them to back off from it and talk to their friends and have conversations and learn by doing things and making things. So it's a touch. It's certainly something that is more prevalent with our older children than our younger children. But we do, especially with COVID, we have iPads for all of our children should we have to go to online learning. And we do have some friends that are doing it from home. We have window-based laptops, 3rd through 8th, MacBooks 9th through 12th, and the one-to-one devices 3rd grade and up. And again, in 3rd grade, we're still teaching them cursive. Most of the public schools and private schools have stopped doing that. We feel that there is a benefit from learning cursive. There's a flow of the brain, a flow of writing. You should be able to write a letter to your grandmother in cursive and read it. So we still, although we're moving forward with technology, we're holding on to things that are near and dear to our hearts. Our school is respectful of all religions. Um, we are Our calendar supports Jewish and Christian holidays as they move through the calendar. And we are not affiliated with a church or a synagogue. We are just respectful of all. If someone celebrates Ramadan and wants to share that with their class, we're learning from each other. We do have some field trips. And again, you have little ones, and this panicked me when I was older. But as they grow, we do some really amazing things, and the children grow up and they're ready for it. So we're not a school. Our school has meaningful field trips, especially for the little ones. We have an affiliation with the Bass Museum, and we'll bring the children there. Non-COVID again. We like the Perez Museum. In the elementary school, we start taking children to Douglas Gardens, which is a nursing home nearby, because we like to give back to the community. We go there with groups of children. We sing songs with the elderly. We play bingo. We color. It's just such a special time to teach the children about caring for the people in our community. In 4th grade, we have Florida Week because 4th grade's really all about Florida and the United States. Fifth graders go on their first overnight to the Marine Lab down in the Keys. It's amazing. My sixth graders have been going to the Circle Dude Ranch, and these are all subject to change as we just change with our environment and what we have. Circle Dude Ranch is horseback riding, team building skills. Seventh graders have been going to Washington, D.C. Eighth graders have been going to Costa Rica. My high school is exploring many different amazing places. And our first year, when our high school was on the smaller side, we took everyone to New York. The second year, we went to Iceland and really explored the culture there, talked a lot about global warming. What an amazing experience. Then the children went to Peru and climbed in Machu Picchu 2 years ago. Last year, we had planned on taking some of our children to Ireland, others to the Bahamas to work at a school there that was impacted by Hurricane Irma, and North Carolina for team building. Unfortunately, due to COVID, those last three trips we were unable to do. We're looking into what we'll be doing this upcoming year. And I know COVID is not going to last forever. These things will go back into place, and especially by the time your children are there. With COVID, we are being very careful, and our students are wearing masks. When they arrive in the morning, we are taking their temperature. We're using Magnus Healthcare to, there's a series of questions the families are completing before every day, kind of a checklist of should I send my child to school or keep them home. We're implementing, as always, especially with the little ones, frequent hand washing. We have different hand washing stations outside, as well as in the classroom. We have our own team of cleaning professionals. Daily, they come into the classrooms throughout the day, and then we have professional cleaning services in the evening. We have touchless facilities installed throughout the campus. We're utilizing drop off and pickup for the children right now. So, unfortunately, right now, we're not having parents and grown-ups and tours on campus. That's why we're doing this in lieu of. We have alternate scheduling for our older children. So we decided it was, we needed to have our Laura Cushman Academy learners, our primary school, and our elementary school coming in every day. Now, we do have students that are choosing to stay home and work virtually, and they're getting exactly what they're getting here on campus. We have cameras, technology set up in all of our classrooms so that we can seamlessly bridge that gap. My middle and high school, the children are physically larger, and so we have to socially distance. And so we're offering every other day for the older children, because we have to socially distance all of the children. So we have some alternative scheduling. And then we have so many virtual learning platforms that have been inputted. And luckily, we had their laptop program already in place prior to COVID. So we feel very lucky that everything has been so seamless. As the children get older, we have honor cards. Our report system is always looking at grades, not grades, but their academic abilities as well as their character, looking at being kind, courteous, respectful, responsible. And in the elementary school, the children can rub for student government. We have a lot of pieces that our student council works with, making poppies on Veterans Day, book drives, Ronald McDonald House. As they get older into the middle and high, service learning is very important to us. Reaching out to the community. Our parents. We love our parents. They love us. They're always welcome. We want this to be your home. And we have a really beautiful Cushman School Parent Association. In the high school, we add high school into our acronym. And it's a time for parents to come together at least once a month to do things and plan for the school, starting with a Halloween howl, a gala, fundraising, pizza lunch, Cushman Cares, being a classroom parent. if you would like to be here, we'll find something for you to do. And I just love this picture of Blue and White Day where we invite our parents to come in and play. Some little details, snack and lunch. We love to eat at the Cushman School. We do not have a cafeteria by design. So in the younger grades, some of the children's classes will have a shared snack that there's a parent of the week. Otherwise, they'll pack a little something in their lunch box to have as a snack. We have lunch between 11:30 and 12:30 across our campus, and we have such beautiful outdoor space under the trees with picnic tables and benches and spaces that we all have lunch. And it's a really, I just love to get out of my office and walk around and just see the children all enjoying and having their lunch around noon by design. We did have a cafeteria for a few years, and we had some children eating at 10:30, others eating at 1:30, and we just decided that wasn't for us. We do in a typical year have some places that deliver to our school, and then of course some families pack lunches. We have an open door policy throughout our school. For your children, Mrs. Sevilla is your entry. You're always welcome to meet with her, talk with her, as with any of us. You can email the teachers. We have a little folder that goes back and forth with their work. We don't keep everything until the end of the year and send home a big portfolio of what they've done. We want you to see what they're doing continually. Public speaking is very important to us, and it's really one of the gifts the children leave Cushman School with. And I always say, I had to go to college and force myself to take public speaking and almost died in my presentations, but I did it. And here they get it when they're little. And my son has my shyness. And when he was in pre K 3 and up on stage, he found a big potted plant and hid down behind it during his presentation. And then when his class was walking off, he stood up and walked off. And I was a teacher at the time, sitting in the front row saying, Jake, but that's what he could do. And little by little, he was able to stand up there. And so quickly with first graders, they have a beautiful oratory where they memorize and recite a poem of 100 words of their choosing, and they present in front of their friends and families with no note cards. They've memorized it. And it is just such an amazing time to watch the children grow and become confident speakers. Oratories continue through as they get older, fourth grade, seventh grade. We have so many presentations. We have a talent show in February. And let me tell you, we've had to split it into two shows because the last few years we've had around 100 talented performers who want to share their talents on stage with our community. It could be telling jokes, singing songs, doing dances, hula hoops, magic tricks. It's a part of what we do. I spoke a little about sports. Your little guys will have PE every day. They can do some after school sports in our clubs. Kindergarten through fourth grade has our CAD program, Cushman Athletic Development. And then as they get older, fifth through 12th, they play competitively against other schools. And we are a part of the Florida Athletic Association as they are older. I talked about assemblies, which happen all the time. Dr. Cushman, when we were a small school, had the children perform every Friday, a little something of what they learned during the school day. Now we have one at least at the end of every month. Your little guys are not going to have letter grades. We feel like they're all on their own journey. We write comments, we have narratives, we have report cards for the kindergarten and up. We start our letter grades in fourth grade, and it's a learning time for them to understand, the percentages and what the grades are. But prior to that, it's a series of narratives and sometimes always pieces where where they are excellent, satisfactory, that sort of thing. Last and not least, homework. So we do not believe that children that are young, they're working all day. We don't assign homework kindergarten and down. Of course, reading with your child every day is the best gift you can give them. And you know that. It increases their vocabulary, their attention span, it teaches directionality. We start homework formally in first grade, but it's not something that the teachers have not had a chance to teach. It's something meaningful that they bring home and do and bring back. And it's about 10 minutes in first grade, 20 minutes in second, third grade, and 30 minutes in third grade, and so on. We are affiliated and accredited by many different associations, one being the Southern Association of Independent Schools, the Southern Association of College and Schools, the Florida Council of Independent Schools and Advanced Ed, and we are a national Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. And you can see all of the different accreditations and places that we are members. All right, so our re-enrollment will begin January 19th and go through February 5th. That's when my current students will have a chance to hold their space for next year. New enrollment, when I'll be sending out contracts, will begin in February. I will likely be able to tell you if we have a space for your family prior to that. So I'm just going to kind of go through the steps, especially because we're opening with the little guys. So we have spaces available for the fall. So, and in a couple situations, if you are looking for a mid-year enrollment, please just let me know and I'll work with you. Um, so first and foremost, if you don't already have, I'll send you an application and you would return that to my attention with an application fee and a copy of their birth certificate or passport, something with their birthday. The little guys, there are no teacher recommendations or transcripts. They're too small. Those start in first grade. So after your application comes in and we've had a chance to chit chat, I'll set you up with Jill Sevilla, our primary school director, just to meet and talk to you about your child as she places the children with teachers. And although we all are on the same page, we have different personalities. So she likes to meet with you and your child if they'll come in for a moment, just to get a feel for your family. And then you'll follow back with me and I'll have an admissions decision. We do have a lot of financial assistance. Um, Unfortunately, it primarily begins with kindergarten and higher. So in kindergarten, families can apply from the state for Step Up for Students, the McKay Scholarship, the Gardner Scholarship, and we have internal funding for first through 12th grade. If you have any questions about the process or you want to talk just individually about your particular child, please reach out to myself, to us. My email is admissions@cushmanschool.org, as well as the more tricky one, which is srenzepis@cushmanschool.org. My direct line is right in front of you, and you're always welcome to find our information, this presentation, an interactive map of the school, which shall be published hopefully next week on our website, the one that we started with, where you saw the main campus and the high school campus. And we're here for you. We're here to answer your questions. We're here to guide you through these next several years. I know it's a huge decision, finding a school for your child. And look at all of them. Find something that fits the philosophy of how you want your children raised. And we're really, as I've said over and over, a school of good character, teaching the children to be kind, courteous, responsible, industrious, and a love of learning. So thank you again for joining us. I appreciate you spending your morning here, and I look forward to talking with you.